Welcome everyone to everyone's favorite podcast about Gemini movies. I'm your host Alice Ulo and my co-host.
Buongiorno, guten Tag alle zusammen hier. Ich bin Ludovico. Wie geht es dir, Alice?
Wow, so
Yeah, how are you doing, Alice? Is what I asked in German.
I'm doing fine. I've been sick, but that's because it's fucking winter and I've been somewhat sick as always in winter. That kills me.
Yeah. I'm doing good. I'm fine. So let's start with our monthly segment of talking about something unrelated to get it out of our system.
Okay, I'll start with this. Because I'm a fucking nerd and because in recent news, I've been getting back into good old Doctor Who. Yeah, it's been enjoyable. My thing, as always, with this type of stuff is I'm not that much fan of the new stuff, mostly because the new stuff is like very high polished. And that's why I fucking hated that. I fucking hate Moffat as a writer that took over the writing stuff. But I've been going back to some of the old stuff, and some of the old stuff is pretty decent. I like it a lot still, because I'm a nerd for like 60s Xanofix and like 70s Xanofix and etc. It's been enjoyable going like just watching a bunch of stuff. Specifically, been going back to like the first stuff from like the 60s. 60s Doctor Who is very funny because it's meant to be like an educational show, but kind of not because it's the 60s and from the UK.
Yeah.
So like they go to they go to the Aztec Empire, no.
No.
Do you want to guess how the Aztecs are depicted?
I can imagine some stuff about them, yeah.
Shouts out though, it has a very funny moment where like, and one of the big things in Doctor Who is the Doctor, like the time travelers cannot change the past. So the guy is just, so the Doctor is just like, ends the episode by saying, no, we must let human sacrifice continue. Because that was the thing. So human sacrifice in the Aztec Empire in real life. Complicated thing, mostly over the top eyes by racism, but as an episode thing, that's very funny. Yeah, besides that, it's just very enjoyable to watch, like, I wouldn't say like it's the best science fiction I've seen everything, but like watching old Doctor Who is like very enjoyable for me because it's just very comfortable, like science fiction, like it's very much low budget sci-fi and like sometimes like horror and like historical fiction, and just like it's very much enjoyable to like have like something comfortable to watch. I mean, it's like not the best thing. There's also a very funny episode. There's also a very funny episode where like they made the legally distinct Frankenstein's monster, and it's the most like fucking bootleg thing ever in slow budget. So and it's just a brain guy.
Nice.
And it's very funny. If you like, I would recommend it. The news pass is fine. I enjoy the news pass. The news pass is enjoyable. Has some jokes I don't like, but I'm looking forward to the rest of stuff. I'm looking forward for they bringing back my favorite guy from a show originally from the 60s was my favorite guy, the Celestial Toy Maker, who, as you can guess by the name, was originally a racist stereotype. Gonna be good. Anyway.
Yeah, I watched some of that Who stuff with you in present. I do get why it's popular, but I think it's not so my thing.
You're not that much into like the Popes and science fiction stuff either.
Yeah, I like that stuff in like small doses, like the occasional cult horror sci-fi things, like the star-shaped things in that Japanese movie.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Okay, it's your time.
Okay, it's my time. Yeah, I start playing a bit of Street Fighter 6 again. I'm learning a new character, Aki. Now the thing is, Aki isn't very good. She's hard to play, and you get jumped on, and it hurts a lot. But she's worth the struggle because she has funny options, and it's fun to play her.
Yeah.
I'm still learning her. I see people I know are way better with her already. But it's a fun little struggle, and it's very different from Marissa, which is the big punch lady. So they're two very different flavors of fighting in character. I enjoy that.
Yeah. No. Now I'm gonna ask a very important question: is this character a Joker type? So give Joker vibes.
She's absolutely Joker-fied to the nines. She's a Joker woman. She's just like Jury in a way, just like without the feet.
Who's the superior Joker woman in Street Fighter 6? You got Julie or her? What would you say?
I mean, I like Aki more because she's just like more. She's less egotistical. She's more like out of control into her master.
Yeah, that's.
So she's just like a a very sobby woman who's full of poison.
Yeah.
So she's like me.
Wow. Is she how she's rated in the tier lists?
Oh, Japan rates her as bottom one right now as the worst character.
That's it. Like the worst, or like just the worst, like
the worst in the game right now.
That's interesting. I guess how do you feel playing like a somewhat...
It's definitely a struggle. It's way harder to do stuff because her buttons have such a slight little range, and she has very good Oki and like set play once you get in, but her neutral is just so weak. You just keep getting bopped.
I guess this is like that isn't like another thing because you have to go to main. So what I'm actually, it's an interesting thing. As like I don't play a lot of fighting games. My thing is card games, but it's always very interesting. To make an example, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, I played a lot of decks that are seen as like bad decks, but it's always very interesting to like play like characters or decks or whatever in like a competitive game that like people say is the worst, like not as fast as like the more mainstream options, because
you learn a lot of things by doing that.
Yeah, I feel like it can be very rewarding. I don't know, just like just in terms of like the X thing has like certain weaknesses more than like you playing with like the official like more stronger option, but like learning those weaknesses can be a rewarder, and like
it depends if you enjoy the struggle, right?
Yeah,
and I guess I enjoy the struggle boss that is Aki.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things I like about the competitive games, like fighting games, card games, stuff like that. You can really build just your personality and like just doing stuff that goes against like the mainstream of like whatever like meta you're playing against, and we just personalize it and like play around it. You understand?
Yeah, that's so great under neoliberal capitalism. We all get to express ourselves inside stuff we have to buy.
Yeah, listen, the 200 yellow cat sets. They're worth it. Anyway, yeah, that seems desirable. Maybe I'll get the Street Fighter 6 when it's on sale.
Yeah. It was on sale lately, but not that expensive. Expensive still.
It'll probably be in Christmas sale on Steam or something. So like, look at it. Okay, let's go.
Check those modern controls. Enough enjoyment. It's time to suffer.
Yes, suffer. Like, okay, Ludwig,
do you want to have to talk, or should I have to talk?
I was gonna ask. Do you want to talk about the guys now?
Okay.
Talk.
I guess I'm just gonna try to break it down really quick.
This episode is gonna have a lot of content warnings.
This will maybe be the most content warnings we ever did for anything. So this is directed by these two movies are directed by two different men, and they both have their own quality of badness. So this is the first time we have to talk about two problematic directors at the same time. The first of them, I'm going to check the names out right now. The first of them is Luchino Visconti. He's an Italian filmmaker. He's very much known as part of, I think, the Italian New Wave.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
I don't think Italian New Wave. Neorealism would be the proper term.
Neorealism. And he's very talented. He's also known to be in a relationship with all of his actors, even if they're minors.
Yeah.
Which is very bad. So he basically used his directorial power to coerce these main actors into being with him, more or less. This happened multiple times, and one of them was a minor, a 16-year-old.
The most famous case would be with Latin Banners, which is like a very famous case.
Yeah, so that's one guy, that's already bad, but don't worry. We also got a German guy called Hans-Jürgen Sieberberg who describes the new world as the Jewish world, and the old world was like the Western world. So that should tell you what kind of guy this is.
Yeah, you got the Solomon guy. He's named Hans. He talks about the Zeus. We all know where this is going.
He's like a hardline conservative with very anti-Semitic tendencies. He's also very interesting as a filmmaker. But he made a 8-hour movie about Hitler? Just so y'all know, 8-hour movie about Hitler.
Yeah, 8 hours. Is it 9 hours actually or something?
Maybe it's 9 hours.
Yeah, he made a 9-hour movie about Hitler. So
yeah, he doesn't even like Hitler that much, I think. But he's basically. We're gonna talk about what his whole deal is later, but.
Yeah.
It's part of his Gesamtkunstwerk to like talk about all these big German myth people.
Yeah. So this is really a battle of weird science. You got Italian pedophile and some Nazi, some right-wing anti-Semitic guy.
Yeah, and the worst part is the movies don't even suck. They're like all right.
They're like fine movies. This is why we had to like. This is why we really fucking have. This is gonna be a really tough episode for us because we don't really actually hate both movies. The Hans movie is like a whole fucking thing gonna have to talk about, but I don't actually even that hate it that much. So we're gonna have to preface our. At this point, we would just be giving our general opinions about both movies, but we have to preface it like this fucking big like, this guys are real fucking bad. So yeah, we'll have to preface this with like a fucking big red warning sign. Do not seek out to work with these people unless you can really handle media by not just problematic, like extremely fucking problematic people.
Yeah, I think these are interesting from like an academic, analytical standpoint. Like if you want to learn about certain schools of film, this is interesting.
Like, yeah.
If you watch these movies, pirate them. Don't pay anybody who like distributes these movies money because they're making money off like pedophiles and fascists.
Yeah, please do not just pirate this. I think one of these movies is just on YouTube. So just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for get about our thought. This is gonna be fun. The Ludwig the second, the Visconti movie. Is it Ludwig the second? The second.
The Visconti movie is called Ludwig, and the other one is Ludwig, Requiem for a Virgin
Not
King.
the second, just Ludwig. Ludwig is a very interesting. If you like BBC style, like old school, like Hollywood, like because we're much in those styles.
Period pieces.
Yeah, period pieces. It's a very interesting time. I think it's mostly enjoyable. It's kind of very slow movie because it's 4 hours long. The second two part, during the last half of it really starts to be onto something very interesting. But it's a very slow, like historical thing. I would say I enjoy it. I like it because I like this type of things. It's enjoyable, ignoring who the director is. It's very wet costume. It's enjoyable. It's just because it's 4 hours and the problematic nature. I would just recommend if you really can handle like again, very problematic creators, and if you like this type of stuff, and if you have like basically if you just like if you're like I don't know like a super fan of the period dramas or like you feel academic. I would only recommend those days. Again, I think the movie's good. I just very had to recommend it since it's 4 hours long in the director.
Yeah, you should be able to handle long movies if you want to watch this one.
Yeah.
Should I just tell you what I liked about Ludwig and then we switch to the other one?
Yeah.
I was enjoyable. There are moments where it really becomes like pretty great in how it looks. Like it's very interesting because they shot a lot on location. So I always like that. I just like seeing like different places, especially historical ones. But yeah, it's a fucking long movie, damn. I'm not that much into long period pieces, but I found this pretty okay, especially because it really leans into melodrama a lot. But it also it kind of repeats a bunch of stuff a bunch.
Yeah, it's very
Like,
much like slow. It feels very much something. It should really just be cut into 3 hours,
yeah.
even like 2 hours or something. Like
I
so.
mean, there is a 3-hour American cut.
Yeah,
Maybe seek that one out.
yeah. Um, yeah. Let's do the right-wing one.
Yeah. So, Ludwig, Requiem for a Virgin King, what do you think?
Very stylish movie. It has probably one of the most stylish and like one of the most interesting adaptations of like Brechtian, like God, they sound fucking pretentious, like Brechtian like stage play stuff into like a movie. But it's just it's a very like incoherent movie in what it's trying to say.
Yeah.
When it's very clear, it's just right wing nationalist theater, some nationalist theater. But when it's not clear, it's just a bunch of incoherent. Even when it's being clear, it's just a bunch of incoherent, not actually making sense pointers.
Yeah, it feels very trying to be like sneaky about saying anything.
So it just becomes this very incoherent piece put by some very beautiful aesthetics. Like I get why those people like on Letterboxd like this. It's just for me, just trying to examine this thematically kind of removes a lot of what the aesthetics do, you know? Like I can like movies with incoherent themes or like bad writing if they have good aesthetics, but it's true, but in even like art house movies, but because this is so combined with the themes, it just gets it's kind of like having enjoyment with the aesthetics because it's so tied with the themes, like what it's basically trying to say.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
So it's like not like other movies that have similar issues and things because of the aesthetics, it's because they're so intertwined. It's just like it's just
Yeah, I will come to this later, but there's really you can't separate the monarchic and like colonial aesthetics that this like revels in with the politics
yeah.
of that stuff.
To you, looking at it like a critical theory lens and everything. It's real fucking bad. Looking at the lens of the guy would probably calling me like a Jewish traitor.
Yeah, I think he would probably use like a Romani slur. That would be probably.
I'm sure he has. I am sure he has takes about the Frankfurt School. Anyway,
Yeah, so I think let's just dig into the meat because we could talk forever about these movies. There's a lot to talk about with both the directors and the movies itself because you can find reflections of the problems of these two people, what they did wrong in these movies.
I guess I need to give just a quick thing. I would recommend Requiem. I would recommend Requiem if you like interested in the aesthetics, but I wouldn't really recommend it because of how incoherent it is as a piece of media, like a piece of art.
Yeah, if you're really into like postmodernism in movies, this is like interesting.
It's so fucking funny how this is so postmodernist, and this is by like some right-wing weirdo.
Yeah, this is like reactionary postmodernism. We somehow did it.
We did.
Germany, let's go, Germany.
Someone's made the most funny things. Shouts out to them.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, let's go.
Cast and acting. We're gonna start with Ludwig Requiem for a Dream because that's on the left side of my notes.
Yeah.
That makes it easier for me. Okay, I'm gonna read off the cast here. We got Harry Bear as Ludwig II, Ingrid Carven as Lola Montes, Hannah Köhler as Sissy. Oh, I didn't even know Sissy was in this, damn. Ursula Stratz as Madame Buljowski. Yeah, I remember her. Monika Bleibtreu as Elizabeth Ney, Liesl Haller as Anna Vogel, and Ilona von Harlem as Maria von Hohenzollern. We have two different Wagners here.
Yeah.
Gerhard Merz and Annette Thierry both play Wagner.
Okay, this movie's acting. It's Requiem for Person's acting is intense because it's very Brechtian. It's very kind of erratic, kind of like very much very like a story. It's there to tell you. I think as the piece of acting, it's very interesting, honestly, because it can go from this very outdoor style to go to a more like the acting direction is much more go wild, explode during certain scenes. So it's very
Yeah.
much this combination to me. It's very much like playing a lot of theater statics, like European theater, which is like what for those for the Americans in the indie thing that only listen to this that only are familiar to Broadway. European theater is very different. It's much more like experimental, I say, even like much more mainstream productions.
Yeah.
It's also like much more low budget. So because of those material conditions of being much more low budget productions, they often go for more experimental stuff, like playing around often with the ideas of the stage and stuff like that. And this is very much playing with that, playing with the ideas of like how the actors play. There's various moments of just characters, like a very traditional thing, like European theater is like characters are talking, and then it's just to symbolize just may or have like something else happening. They'll have the actors in the background just moving.
Yeah.
So like it's playing a lot of those. I feel like as somebody that's currently working in like a theater place and stuff like that, I think that's really interesting. I think the way it displays your theater acting is fascinating. It's solid. I'll say. I think the acting is solid.
Yeah, as executive producer Press mentioned, uh, this looks pretty hard to do. And I must say, like, there's scenes where somebody has to just be part of blocking until they have a line 2 minutes into a scene, and they're just part of the blocking, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just parts to like make that image of like wait, how are they called? Tableau. Yeah, just being part of a tableau, and then suddenly they have to move and act, but like in a very abstracted way often.
Yeah, it's interesting because like it seems like a contradiction, but I feel like actually doing this in theater is less harder because in theater you just need to do it one time, You need to rehearse,
Yeah.
You can like screw up, but like it's a difference than having to do the same shot like probably like 15 times,
Yeah, I don't know how much they had to like repeat these scenes to get it just right,
Yeah, yeah.
but it seems exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems exhausting. It's much more less than like a theater production. It's different from exhausting. It's like as a piece of this like theater acting, I think it's interesting. It's very, if because it seems very hard to do. I would say
Yeah.
it's the thumbs up in that part. Do you want to do Ludwig?
Yeah, let's do Ludwig. I don't have anything to add here. Cast and acting, Ludwig. We got Helmut Berger as Ludwig. Romy Schneider. Oh, damn, I know her. I know Romy Schneider.
I think we watched something with her before. No?
Yeah, maybe. Elizabeth of Austria is who she plays. Trevor Howard plays Richard Wagner. Silvano Mangano plays Cosima von Bülow. Gerd Fröbe as Father Hoffmann.
Yeah.
Helmut Griem as Durkheim. I'm really glad I have to read these names today because you would die trying to read
I
these
cannot
German names.
pronounce them.
Yeah. Isabella Telezinska as Queen Mother and Umberto Orsini as Count von Hohenstein. So yeah, this has a bunch of like pretty famous German actors in it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very like European like co-production thing. It has like Italian actors, French actors, I think English actors as well.
Yeah.
It's very much one of those very classical, like old school, like European co-production things. The movie even plays with that because the characters speak various languages, which is like a Visconti thing in his movies. He was just have like various languages be spoken.
Yeah, there's parts of the movies that are basically in Italian and others are German and others are English.
Which is interesting. I would say the acting is very like, it's very PC. Like it's also very like classical Hollywood because the movie's kind of like a master of classical Hollywood. It's like it's very melodramatic, very explosive, very emotional, and very much.
This movie actually got ragged when it came out. For Visconti not being as experimental or like as his style as usual and being more like this classical Hollywood style.
It's interesting because I feel like it actually makes sense because Italian realism was trying to like see reality. It was very stripped down, and why this is not stripped down. This is still like, Like instead trying to be much more something more less
Heightened.
less heightened, less explosive.
Yeah,
It's
it still has its moments where it gets pretty extreme.
yeah. I feel like the acting solid. Like a lot of these people like genuinely big time European actors. It's like if you not even just art cinema. If you watch like if you're somebody that is European or has watched like European mainstream movies, you probably if you watch like anything old, you probably seen a movie with one of these people before now. It's like
Yeah,
it's very solid acting. It's like all very talented people. Um,
and of course it gets like a real focus on Helmut Berger because he's playing Ludwig, and he gets to have like quite a presence the entire movie.
yeah, he was.
Like it's slowly basically losing his mind, and he does it pretty
I
well.
think it's good. Like for a 4 hour long movie, he very much switches between like the smaller store position to like a more kind of comedic role for a bit, and then it's just like you see him just falling apart as a human being. I think the thing is very
Yeah.
solid. It's very kind of traditional, like PC, like in a way that I enjoy. So I enjoy that theater. I like that a lot. I think it's pretty solid. I would say the acting. Um, you have any particular thing about the acting, Ludo?
No, I just wanted to like highlight Helmut Berger, but pretty good.
Do you have any takes on the three Wagner actors?
No, they're Wagner, you know. They're just some guy. They're just some old guy.
This is the podcast official takes on Wagner, or is that some guy?
Wagner was just some guy, you know.
Just he made some music.
He made some mixtapes, you know. They were pretty good.
He was the first problematic mixtape guy. He was the
Yeah, he was a SoundCloud rapper, and then he said something on Twitter.
he was the real Marco the Mark of his time.
Yeah,
Okay, let's go.
Wagner really was the Pokimane of its time.
This is getting good. I love podcasting. Podcasting is good. Okay, let's go.
Plot: Requiem of a Virgin King. This follows vaguely historical events and then gets pretty abstract
Yeah,
at
it's
points.
like a master theater explanations. This is very much of this. Like a lot of European historical theater does this. It's mostly just a collection of moments. It's a collection of moments that particularly get abstracted. So they get abstracted into particular moments, but specifically particular like themes, using like particular moments to indicate particular themes. I would say,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would say the plot is like it's hard to rank. Like it's really hard to rank this type of thing because every part is trying to communicate a different thing. So that's more for the teams. I feel like, but I think it's in the structure. I think the structure is fine. It's just like a mess becomes incoherent.
Yeah, I think there's a reason for everything that happens in this movie. The thing is, it's so abstracted that it becomes hard to understand it until you actually have to deconstruct like every one of these tableaus and really analyze the dialogue. And even then, I think the director is like working out his own confusion with this shit.
Yeah, like
sometimes.
Like you can very much notice because all the plot moments are very much like Ludwig talks about like the glory of like the Bavarian. Basically, Ludwig talks about the glory of like the Bavarian code. So he does the moments with heavy Orientalism. The very much like East communicate very much the right wing views of the actor.
Yeah, but they're both also. We should maybe for a quick moment talk about this Ludwig guy.
Yeah.
So this Ludwig guy, he became king. He had a mental illness, very probably. He was probably homosexual or bisexual. He got declared insane by some doctors. Then they sent him to a home, and he probably committed suicide or was killed after that.
Yeah.
So he's basically the perfect tragic story guy. Right.
Yeah, he can fit in any mode. Both his movies use him in different ways.
Yeah, but they're both like making it a tragedy. In a way.
Because it's like he's a very traditional figure to make like a tragedy about. It's like this happens out like to give an example. This is the same thing with Caesar, where like you can view Caesar as like various different ways. You know, So like Caesar being like killed by the Roman Senate can be seen as like how it can be read like a fascist lens of like the attack on democracy. Now the populace like mob against a popular leader. There's actually feelings, but even like leftist feelings about what happened. You can read Baymaster's traditional like tragic figures in like various ways, because they become archetypes, archetypes.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah. He's really one of those people.
yeah.
Because he had like his stereotype is that he was basically dreamy and interested more in culture than in like war or finances. So he basically just bankrupt Bavaria.
The plot by Requiem wasn't King very much is like him focusing on like being this big coach, so like European guy who very much focuses on him being. We'll talk about this in team, but it was like he was like the real last European royalty. I would say
Yeah.
The plot.
The last German royalty, at least.
I think we'll talk more about Wizard King and teams, because I feel like the what I have to say about Wizard King, like it's confusing as to what the team is.
Yeah.
Let's go with the Ludwig, because it's much more traditional. It's just this is a period piece. It's also going.
Yeah,
to
it's just very much a period piece.
It's just going to his life, but very much like in the traditional, like wasn't fighting. So like if you ever watch like old school like traditional period pieces. It's very much It's very much for this figure, as he rises and falls amongst the world. It's like a very traditional thing we use in PL pieces, both historical and non-historical. Now, both based on like actual history, not based on actual history. So
if you ever read like King Lear or some shit,
Yeah. So like it's a very
you
much,
basically know how this goes.
I think doing that, it's very like again for such being a little pedophile. Visconti knows how to make a movie. It's like it's this very like heightened Hollywood-esque like period piece, and it works. I don't actually have a lot to say about the plot, because it's just kind of very like well mechanized, like just well structured.
Yeah, it's mostly every scene is basically trying to reinforce the melodrama of this guy, like the tragedy. Like every scene is like him trying to get something, like being in love or like wanting to have something with a guy, and then he fucks up every time.
There's also like I feel like we should mention this weird like documentary style photos of various characters talking about Ludwig.
There's like a framing device there.
That is the most experimental the movie gets to actualize. It's kind
of... we basically see people talk about him after he died.
Yeah.
During the movie.
It's interesting very much to communicate, this guy fought. It's kind of very interesting, because there's old historical fiction that does that, of course not with the documentary frame, but like just characters thinking about the past and stuff like that. I do think it's an interesting format. Like an interesting thing. But yeah, I don't have to say it's just the base where it's structured, like it's divided into like 3-4 parts, and it's base where structured and how those parts are separated and how you see Ludwig's rise and fall. Okay, teams?
Yeah, here's where we get to the meat, I guess.
Yeah.
Teams in Ludwig, Requiem for a Virgin King, turn 1.
German European culture good, old monarchy good, modernism bad. Maybe some anti-American stuff. I don't know.
Definitely some stuff against the Jewish banks in there.
Yeah. Hitler bad, but mostly because funny.
He was too modern.
He was.
The problem with Hitler was that he was too modern. Okay, there's no other issues.
You're talking with somebody that's very intelligent. Well, like they go, this. You tell the Nazis they were very much too modernist. They did not want to return to like the tradition.
Yeah, they didn't return to tradition hard enough.
Yeah, but like it's very much like. It's very interesting. It's just kind of a like it's this kind of like ambivalent pan-Europeanism, because it's.
I don't know. I think he's very focused on Germany. This guy has a pure Germany boner.
That's what I mean. It's just this like use of like European aesthetics, especially just German aesthetics, but like specifically because that just brings it to like it's like very like ambivalent like pan-European like sort of like Western myths and stuff like that. That's tied to like Europe.
Yeah.
It's just like very much tied to a specific idea of like Roman cults or like the Roman Empire is like this splendid thing. But also like this very much like you can notice this fucking guy is like a very like fucking returned to the system guy because he basically sees like the persons and everything is like decadent because Ludwig embodies this kind of like traditional view of like the last actual king because he doesn't want to do government and like not
Yeah,
really.
the Prussians had something almost like democracy, and that's bad.
Yeah, like he you just need to be in the castle. Like he fucking really just
Like a confederacy or a republic, that's way too modern. Like for this director, it all went bad when the French Revolution happened. That's basically what's going on here.
That's even a fucking guillotine. It's just this fucking like it's this weird thing that I mostly just see like French right wingers, like specific kind of French right wing academic guy that like sees like the French Revolution as like this decadent like thing, because any kind of like popular revolt and any kind of just modernizing, even conservative modernization like the Prussian was. Like Bismarck was not the fucking liberal. He was like a fucking right winger. Like he see like this decadence of like the modernism of society.
It's so funny because at the same time both of these movies are well aware that Ludwig is like a tragic comedic character. He's not a equivalent of a good guy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they crave this like monarchic power, this opulence. They really want like the decadence and all that shit, but only for rich people and the kings.
Yeah.
Because they deserve it. God gave it.
Yeah, God gave it.
God gave it to them.
I want to wait with that before saying there's a lot to talk about this. I just want to mention what the fuck is up with the random use of American pop culture? It's so fucking.
I think you were right that it's like he's bemoaning the future Americanization of Germany.
Yeah, but
after World War II, because he grew up in that time, right? He was a teenager right after World War II.
Yeah, so specifically the scenes where like it uses like old like public domain stuff from America. So specifically like there's other clip used from the Shadow, which is a Pope anti-hero thing, like pre-superhero like Pope here, Pope like vigilante stuff, and it's very
I think he might have even grown up seeing some of that stuff.
Yeah, because so the context is that stuff got imported to after World War II. That stuff got imported, specifically a lot of like radio plays and stuff, got imported to Germany. A lot of the stuff was like there was like specifically because East Germany was a thing. They imported also a lot of propaganda from like Radio Free Europe and that's it. Of course, this guy's not interested because this guy's just like some sort of nature guy.
He's just sad that there's not a rich guy with a golden cup, he being gay and shit.
It's like like no fucking actual European right winger cares about American imperialism. They just fucking complain about it because they believe like that somehow that's why queer people or like minorities exist. It's not actually.
I guess this one doesn't do that because both of these are well aware that this guy was like pretty gay.
Yeah, but like it's still like a bit like it's the movie recognizes he's gay, but like in a way like
the German movie doesn't do it very directly. They mention it like on the side one time, and the actor is just basically doing like a drag performance.
Yeah.
He's basically serving cunt the entire time.
It's this movie's like it's very incoherent mess, but also when I can actually
because like should we be sad for this guy? Should we be happy for this guy? Should we laugh at this guy? Should we be sad that he's gone? I'm very confused at what the movie's telling me.
There's a scene where like fucking the Nazis, the Prussians, like Bavarians and Lederhosen show up, and it's like this incoherent ramble about how the fucking
I get what that scene means. It's like the different powers and all that, and of German reign, but like. There's also the scene where there's just like guys in lederhosen dancing while Ludwig is watching and being extremely gay at the end.
That's what I mean. Even when I understand what it's saying, it's so incoherent in what it's saying. It really just feels like I'm fucking...
It's like, I love Bavaria, but I also know we're kind of weird.
It's like I'm fucking watching a Southern Pizza and fucking Busy or Timers.
Yeah, but like Jordan Peterson never like would like make fun of something he likes, and this like pokes fun at the shit he also loves.
Yeah,
That's what makes it so complicated,
yeah,
and in my opinion, that's what makes it interesting at all.
yeah.
If it was just like non-stop monarchy propaganda, this would be boring.
Yeah, it's even if this guy is struggling, not like some like thoughtful idea of like struggling with your own beliefs. It's like this is a very confused guy.
Yeah, he's
Like
going
it's
through it in these movies. That's like obvious.
yeah.
So yeah, enough of that because we could literally talk for an hour for just the
Okay,
weird shit that is
Ludwig.
thematically in that movie.
This movie.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you do because I only found one theme.
Ludwig is very much. I'm not gonna mention the teams. It's much more. Ludwig is very interesting because Visconti was a member of the member of the Italian Communist Party, and like leftist resistance people. So this goes more. It's interesting because this also goes to, like some.
He also was a member of Italian nobility
Yeah, yeah, Italian
before
nobility.
that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very interesting, but it's like this famous thing in love. He was actually he was related to Ludwig, but like distant family. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's very much this thing loving also European like aesthetics, like European specific monarchy aesthetics, but also using it to a more romantic lens of like this foreign person, and blending it with like there's some kind of like Ludwig is like this socialist hero thing, which I find interesting.
We should have mentioned romanticism in general as like a motive and theme in both of these. They're
Yeah,
both very romanticist
yeah, but it just
works.
it's very much shaping it for this idea of like the socialist Ludwig, which feels like Visconti very much talking to his nobility and like leftist beliefs. So he makes this
I
like
also think Visconti saw himself in Ludwig, and
yeah.
that's why he makes it so tragic.
Yeah, he was like he was also gay. He was like monarchy, a bit.
Yeah, they're both like homosexual monarchists. It's
It's interesting. So like it's very much interesting because he feels very much this like figure of like toxic foreign thing. Um, it's very interesting because it's going to like this European romanticism I say, but like a more like not a more
I
like
think it kind of it feels more aware that shit is bad, but
yeah.
at the same time it revels in the same aesthetic, you know.
You know, yeah, like this was the 70s. So like the 70s, like there was like specifically in Italy, there's like a lot of leftist movements. Just there was this evaluation of it's a thing I talked to Ludo in like the car and like one of the resource cars. It's like as like European history goes, as like years pass, as Europe as Europe tries, even if it's still very small, to like confront its past, you start seeing a like more self-criticalness, like European history, even like European history that has nothing to do with colonialism or history, the thing. You just start to like those images of like people start connecting very collecting those images of like the guy in the chaos with like what later happened, like colonization, imperialism, etc., etc. Uh, so you start to self-critically analyze, but also you notice also some resistance.
Yeah.
So Visconti is very much interested in like analyzing the past of like this Ludwig is this tragic figure that maybe he has his own downfall, but also he sees himself because he was like a white European nobility guy. So the
Yeah, and I think the ending is especially notable there because it's kind of moving how Ludwig just loses all agency and then is put into a mental institution.
yeah
And that's like really like it felt like Visconti like imagining how he would have ended up in another era
yeah
as a nobleman.
yeah, it's this interesting thing of like realizing the, like of like realizing the flaws sometimes like going into them because Ludwig at the end of the day is just this put as this romantic figure of just like something we lost because like I feel like with Requiem of the Bosom King, Visconti sees something in like the pre like democratized, like so-called democratized, not really democratized of course, like modernized like European novelities of later. Of course, not from a right wing perspective, but like it's still like very much trying to look at something.
He makes the guy look better in a way than the German one
Yeah,
because he's way more relating with Ludwig, while in the other one he's more like a symbol, right?
Yeah, yes. It's interesting because you see this guy like falling apart, and I think the movie communicates that well. I think thematically the movie is decent in what it's trying to do. It's very much
Yeah.
also very smartly kind of using like old American melodramas that often had very tragic endings to symbolize like the fall of of Ludwig.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
interesting. It's interesting the themes. Do you have anything else to say in this part?
yeah. No.
Uh, Cinematography next.
Cultural relevance, sadly.
Uh, ah ah. Where do we want?
Um, I think that Ludwig Requiem for a Virgin King will still appeal to reactionaries today, especially if they're like monarchists,
Yeah,
but not if they like Hitler too much.
yeah,
If they
yeah.
like Hitler too much, then they're gonna be offended because like he's very much like playing around with these toys and like making them do silly shit.
Yeah, this feels like something that like some of the weird like film guys like Twitter would like to that would
Yeah,
like
conservative film Twitter, they're about this.
about this. It's like it's very much like a thing for youngsters. I feel like there's an act like there is a genuine interest in like if you want to study like if you study like Zen film like European film like if you study like reactionary like art. Or just depictions of monarchy. I think this is interesting to examine if you're like interested in the ideology of these products. I just don't. I do not recommend like
I
watching
think
this.
besides Civilization 6, most people don't know who Ludwig is the second.
Yeah,
Like the historical person itself has just been largely forgotten outside of Europe,
yeah,
and even inside Europe.
yeah. Not to listen to that thing, but if I'm, but most of like the Roman monarchy stuff is like forgotten at this point. Why? Besides weird Roman monarchists.
Yeah, like you don't learn about a lot of this stuff at school because it's way more important to tell you about World War II.
Yeah, so like it's famous like this forgotten history thing. Like this is what this movie is a part of at the time. By the 70s in general in Europe, even like the actual monarchy, even in the actual monarchies, like a similar thing that happened with it was happening in Japan, like other places. In general, in the world, there was like a demonetization of the monarchies, where like very much basically everything besides certain figures were like demonetized. You know, where they emphasize.
There's also like a very much a thing of there was a like people starting to work up European history and stuff
Yeah,
and start being critical of it, and then the reactionary movement to that
yeah,
of people being nah, these kings they were dope.
yeah. So like this very much like by this time. Like we're starting to see like the a very much like critical look at like monarchy stuff. And, like even now, like we like in Portuguese school, you basically don't read a lot about the Portuguese monarchy besides certain parts. Like it's very much de-emphasized. I must emphasize very much in Bavaria. But yeah, like I would recommend only if you have like this, only if you have like an interesting
Yeah, I don't think
reactionary.
this is gonna be too culturally relevant in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Ludwig too, Ludwig. Uh,
Let's hope not. That's all I wrote here. Let's hope not.
yeah, the letters, man. Unless you really have an interesting programmatic art. I guess I'm like, this feels like stimuli niche, even ignoring the stuff with the intellectual. It's a far like historical drama. Like
Yeah,
unless
this just doesn't exist in this form anymore at all.
it's us. I mean, Visconti still like Sailor still a big a big pop figure with certain European film heads.
Yeah.
So like maybe in certain cinephile circles, but even that is like even like in certain cinephile circles, even art house circles, like a 4 hour like historical piece by Hollywood cinema, it's like a very like hard sweat purpose in sort besides if you're it's a type of person. So like I don't besides certain film circles, I don't think this has a lot of relevancy.
Yeah, also I believe even if you were in those circles, you would probably watch other Visconti movies, you know?
Yeah, he had a much more popular by a period drama called the Leopold.
Yeah, the Leopard.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all I think about this section.
yeah. Cinematography, music.
Cinematography,
Uh,
Ludwig, Requiem for a Virgin King.
Very interesting. It's very much using like a very static camera thing, because it's very much inspired by like theater productions.
Yeah, I think it's also very much paintings, right?
Yeah, it's theater and paintings. It's a combination of both, which I find interesting because
Yeah.
there's actually a lot of like merging the two.
More, a lot of the backgrounds, like of the stage, basically, is giant paintings and like painted backdrops.
Yeah, the way that things are shot, so like you have static characters and like that's because you have the static characters very much inspired by theater, and then you have like the painting, so like it becomes like a pseudo painting that moves, which I find interesting.
Yeah, it becomes like a tableau.
Yeah. So I find that interesting. I would say the camera work and the cinematography is very good. Honestly,
I don't think there's even a lot of like new school of editing or cinematography because the camera doesn't move a lot of the time, and if it does, it's like a pan.
yeah, it's very much traditional like theater stuff. You know?
Yeah, it's very like not drawing attention to itself at all.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned, like it will just have like random background characters move as part of the scene. It doesn't draw attention; they just move. Like it's very traditional theater. Like it's interesting. I don't have a lot to say. Do we move to Ludwig?
Yeah, that has some pretty shots. Visually, it's of course reveling in opulence.
I need to look up the camera person. I think this person shot like a bunch of like famous
Italian stuff.
I think they also shot Maximum Overdrive. Simpson would first shot Maximum Overdrive.
Right, this is a Maximum Overdrive cinematographer.
Was very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very well shot. It's very much trying like classical like aesthetics. It's very classic. It's very much just a classical like old European movie cinematography, you know.
Yeah, there are parts where it gets a bit more interesting when they use like reflections or like the blocking in some of the scenes where there's just so much opulence that like you almost don't know where the people are standing because there's so much bullshit around them.
Yeah, specifically, also there's a part where he enters the castle like alone, and there's just no one. It's briefly like a kind of horror movie sort of. It's
No, it's basically the two women, one of them who wanted to marry him,
yeah.
who entered the castle, and it's just one giant empty castle.
Yeah, it's very
It's
interesting.
spooky.
It's very just well made. It knows how to when to go slightly experimental, to when to go more traditional. The documentary parts are very well shot and shot like a documentary, you know, like a 70s thing. Like it's well that well lit. It's decent. I like it a lot. It's well done. You have anything?
Yeah. Maybe less shot of teenage boys thinking about the director, you know, it would be good.
Yeah.
Less shot of them without a t-shirt and shit.
Yeah, there's some stuff in this that makes me go.
Yeah, like I said, you see reflections of the badness of both of these directors in their movies. It's almost like you can't separate that shit.
Wow, you cannot really separate the art from the artist. Fucked up.
This is so twisted and evil.
Yeah. Anyway, music. I hope you like Wagner. Do you like Wagner?
Yeah, both of these have just tons of Wagner. There's like not much to say. If you like Wagner, this is gonna be for you. If you don't like Wagner, don't come near.
Actually, I'm much more of a Mozart person.
Yeah, I think Wagner is all right, you know, but also, dude just liked horns too much.
It's very like. I'm gonna make a comparison that actually will piss off a lot of people. You know what Wagner reminds me of with the horn use? Slagen music.
Yeah, it's a direct line culturally.
Yeah,
we just like those horns.
We just pretend with Wagner that he's much more fancy because European royalty listen to him instead of like some guy who's in the 50s.
It does do some less folksy stuff than Schlager music when it comes to like melodies and rhythm.
Yeah, but like I don't even hate Wagner. It's just very much like this traditional fucking thing of like the emphasis of the horn is very like populist, you know. But like,
Yeah.
get the horn. It's like,
It can be cool. It inspired some cool stuff, like the soundtrack of Lord of the Rings.
yeah, I don't hate that. It's just very funny to notice that. Like, here's my thing. I don't actually have a lot of very musical opinion on Wagner. He's fine musically. He's just very.
Yeah.
You can just very much notice just like the. When you listen to like a lot of classic compositions, you just very much like. I like a lot of them, but you also just notice their flaws. Not notice, but like once you consume as
It
much
doesn't
music,
have a banging dunk.
once you actually consume as much music as me from various genres, you very much notice that. Oh yeah, the line of like fanciness and not fanciness is very fake, and like you see this.
Marching music, especially, it's just like very trite, very folksy in its way.
Do you think there's a difference in how this movie's use Wagner? Like it's basically the same.
I think a Requiem of the Virgin King revels more in Wagner itself.
Yeah, I don't think the Ludwig movie of Visconti has much of a Wagner festus.
Yeah, it uses more of a character to like enhance the tragedy of the main character.
Yes, they use this much more like a task, like, well, like the fucking. It really gives me Hitler energy.
In Requiem of the Virgin King, it's definitely like commentary about like the German culture and German spirit, you know.
It really gives me Hitler energy.
Yeah, I get that, definitely.
Yeah.
Hitler liked himself some of that Wagner.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing. Was Wagner like actually anti-Semitic? I know he was not a Nazi because he died for the Nazis. But like,
he probably might have been anti-Semitic. I don't know too much. I know he definitely believed like in a lot of that German myth and German, you know, the Germanic spirit and all that bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. He was not the coolest of dudes. Yeah. What's next?
We need to do the random number thing.
Oh yeah, because the strike is over, so we're gonna pick a movie with how many movies we have? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the list right
now.
No,
I have it. 207.
207 entries.
Yeah, let's be. Okay, 107. Let me see. What's 107?
I hope it's.
Oh, we already. It's bicentennial, man, and AI, artificial intelligence.
Nice. That's actually good.
Let's go.
That's gonna be in January, so y'all have a nice Christmas. Yeah. Have a nice, good New Year. And see y'all.
Happy holidays. Happy movies. I hope you watch some good movies. See.
Do you wanna plug your shit?
Oh yeah, Add a Soul of Water. I deleted my Twitter, but sometimes I reactivate it. So if I have reactivated, Add a Soul of Water. We still have the Soul of Water, Blue Sky, co-host, Twitch, etc.
Yeah, I'm on co-host on Twitch. You can find me, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're smart.
See ya.
Bye-bye.